Hello everyone, welcome back. So in today's tutorial we'll be looking at forms and comments and form selection. We are done with form basics and form labels. So today we'll be moving on to comments and form selection. This is where we stop on our last tutorial, so from here I'll continue. So in this tutorial I'll be creating an hotel feedback to give more explanation to this second part of form selection. But before that, I'll be showing you guys how to use comments on your VS Code. Comment is like a text to let you know what you are working on, but the compiler won't run it on your web page. Like maybe when I let me try to make a comment here. Inside this body, I can say I want to write a comment now. So this is how to write a comment. Use a less than, this exclamation mark, and two dash from your right, from your left, and two dash to the right, and after that you put a greater than sign. So in between those symbols you can write anything as comment. I can write now, I can write I am working on form. On how, okay, let's say on how to create form. Okay, so let me save this and go to the web page now, and you see what I'm trying to say. This I am working on how to create form won't be displayed on your web page, so the compiler will take it as comment. So once I refresh this, you won't see any changes, assuming that I didn't put it in between this comment symbol. It's going to reflect on the web page. So once I can, you see I'm working on how to create forms. So to render it as a comment, in order for it not to be displayed on the web page, you have to comment it out using those symbols. So that is how to use comments on our codes. So once I refresh this, it disappears. So let me go back to the VS Code and continue with today's work. But before that, I'm going to section this my codes, because this is where we stop in our last tutorial. But the second part I want to show you guys is about form, but it's like the continuation of form, how to use radio button, drop down menu, and the rest. So I'm going to section this out. So let me just give it, let me write this section there. This is a section, so I'll copy this, Ctrl X, and paste it under here. So I'm going to create another section and create another form. So let me just place this here. So that is the section we did last week. So I'm going to create another section now. That's section. So in between this section we'll move on to today's works, which is how to create hotel feedback. Like maybe you are on a website, and a website that was designed for an hotel, and the hotel wants to know the feedbacks of how they experience, what they experience in their hotel, whether it is good or it is excellent, or their experience was very bad. You can use something like drop down menu, or they want to get information their from their customer. So I'm going to show you how to create those forms. Okay, so I'm just going to write an H1 here. So I'll be creating an heading here, and I'll name it hotel feedback form. So let me just use H2 tag. Hotel feedback form. So this is it. Let me save and refresh. Go back to the web page and refresh. So here I have hotel feedback form. So after this, I'll be creating a radio button. So to do that, we use our input tag again. we use our input tag. So input. So what are we working on? Radio button. We want to work on radio button. So for you guys to understand better, I'm just going to comment here and say radio button. This is for radio button. So this radio button, we have a label. So I'm going to give it a label of, okay, let's say the question was asked that, let's say a question was asked using a paragraph. Let me use a paragraph. Like, what is, maybe the website was designed in a way that is asking you that, what is your gender? What is your gender? That is, maybe you are a male or female. So you can use a radio button. That is when radio button comes to usefulness. So I'll put a label here. Label. So this label is for what? Is to give the answer for the user to see it. So this label is for male. You can create other labels and say this label is for female. You select your own part, whether you're a female or a male. So I'm just going to write male here and save. So let's go to the web page to see what we are working on. So once I refresh, you can see this now saying what is your gender. So we have this radio button whereby you can select. So I've just created just one radio button and one label. That is why we only have one there, and you can see that the name is not displayed here. For the name to display, we are just going to write it inside here and write male, so that the user will see, okay, this is male. Let me select this radio button. I am a male. So once I refresh, you can see that we have a male here. So if you are a male, you select male. If you are a female, you select female. So let me just write the remaining part. Just copy this to make the work much faster. I'll copy this and paste to the next line. Ctrl V, Ctrl V. So this will be for female. This will be for female. I'm going to write female here. Female. And we have other genders, maybe female. So just write others. So I'm just going to save this now and refresh. So once I refresh, okay, they are not under their input. I'm going to create each input for them. So let me copy this input, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, Ctrl V also. So I'm going to add a break here to make it move to the next line. Break. And here also I'll add a break. So once I save and refresh it, you can see that we have them here. What is your gender? We have male, we have female, we have other. So if you are a male, you select male. If you are a female, you select female. If you are others, you select others. But we notice something that is we notice a malfunction here. Normally when we select an option, any other option you selected is supposed to go off. Like maybe where you select, let me refresh. Maybe when you select male now, if you select female, this male automatically supposed to click out. So when you select female, but here they are all selecting. So in order to resolve that issue, let me refresh. We'll go back to the VS Code and we are going to add something called name to it. So we go to each input and give it a name. So write name. We are working on gender, so I'll just write gender. So I'll copy it. This name has to be the same, just like a boolean value. It has to be the same for each input that we are working on here. So I'll just control C this, control C, and I'll paste it to the next input. So also paste it here also. So once you select an option, the other will go off, so they all have the same input now. So once you select one out of them, the other goes off. So let me save this and go back to the web page and refresh. So once you select male here, it will be selected. We are female. Once you select female, this one will go off and the female will be selected. We are others, select others, this female will go off and the others will be selected. I hope you guys are understanding. So let me move on to the next input. So the next we'll be working on now is drop down menu. So I'm just going to create comments for that to show that we are working on drop down menu. So we're creating a drop down menu. Drop down menu. So in order to do that, we are going to use the select tag. Select tag is used for drop down menu. So not this, not section. The select tag is used for drop down menu. So we are going to give it a name, like maybe if the hotel say we should rate their service, whether their service is very poor or very good or excellent or average. So we can use a drop down menu to give the user the opportunity to select how good the hotel is. So in between this name now, I'll be giving it a feedback. It's because we are working on feedback. We want to get the feedback from our user, so I have to give it a meaningful name. So this is feedback. When we get to CSS, we'll be working on how to use this ID very well, because CSS give HTML more beautification, like designing the website to look like a real website and look it more official. So from this select menu, from this select tag now, let me go to the web page and refresh. You can see we have this kind of button here. I'm going to add a break button to bring it down. So let me add a break button. A break button here. Where did I stop? I stopped here. So I'm going to add a break button here to bring it down. So once I save and refresh, that drop down menu is going to come down to the next line. So for now we don't have anything yet in the drop down menu to select. Like once I click this drop down menu, it's supposed to bring out some informations, like maybe the hotel say we should rate our service, maybe excellent, maybe very good, or very bad, or very poor, or average. So it's supposed to bring them out. So I'm going to add that now shortly. So before that, let me write the question first. So let's say the hotel say rate our service. So let's say the hotel is saying, let me use H2. The hotel website is saying rate our service. So Control S, and okay, let me save this and go back to the web page and refresh. So now the website is saying rate our service. So I'm just going to, instead of using H, let me use paragraph. For it, so that to look more good, more presentable. So let me use paragraph. Now let's go to the web page to check how it looks. Okay, yes, we have it now. It is good now. We have rate our service. So I'm going to give it some options. So I'm just going to call the options tag to give what I'm working on the options. So rate our service, whether it's excellent, whether it's very good, or average, or very poor. So I'm going to list out those options for the user to select what they actually get, like the what he gets from the hotels, how good the hotel is. So I'm going to write excellent here. Excellent. If the hotel is excellent, their performance is excellent, or their service is excellent, write excellent. Excellent. So I'm just going to copy this to make the work much faster. So let me copy this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So if it's very good, write very good here, very good, and I'm going to write very good here also, very good. Go to the next line. I'll just write average. If it's average, if the service is average, write average. Average. If it is very poor, write very poor. If their service is very poor, you let them know that their service is very poor, very poor. So I'm just going to write very poor here also, very poor. So once I save and go back to the web page, now the user will be able to select his own. Oh, sorry, they are going to be inside this tag. I've forgotten that it's not under it, so I'm just going to cut it now. I'll cut it and paste it here under it. So they have to be under the they all have to be under the select tag. So Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. So I'll cut this and paste it here, Ctrl V. So they all have to be under the select tag for it to work perfect. So once I save this and refresh, so let me refresh. So they will be inside the drop down menu. Once I click this drop down menu now, so you can select the service of the hotel. If the hotel is excellent, you pick excellent. If the hotel service is very good, you pick very good. If the hotel service is average, you click average. If it is very poor, you click very poor. So that is how to use the drop down menu. So I'm just going to bring this send button under here, so because when we click on this send, all the actions you input are going to be sent to the data, to this server connected to it, to the website. So I'm going to bring this send button here. So let's move on to the next agenda. Where is this send button? Where did I use the send button? The submit button. Okay, so this is it. I'm just going to cut this now. Let me cut this, Ctrl X, and I will send it. I'll put it here. Let me put it here. So Ctrl V, because once you click on this send button, the action will switch into action, like the action added to it, maybe the website or the server connected to it, will be all the information you enter will be sent to it. So once I save this and go back to the web page, it's going to be okay. Let me add a break button here to bring the send button down. I'm just going to add a break button. Break. Let me add a break button. Ctrl S. So we have, once we press this send, it's going to take us to the link server. So I haven't input any data yet, so it won't work until I input those information requested before they can work. So now we're moving on to checkbox, how to use checkbox. So I'm just going to bring this break button down here and use a command to write it out. So let's say this is for checkbox. So for this checkbox, we also use the input tag to create it. So I'm just going to call the input tag. So the input is for checkbox. So checkbox. So let's say the website is asking you other countries you have visited. Like they want to know what the countries you have visited out of the options given. So let me use each one to create. And before that, I'm going to change this. All those parts I use paragraph 4 to, let's say I'll use p3. I'll use h3 to write them instead of paragraph, because that paragraph is too long. So let me go here and use h3 h3 tag. So I'm just going to change this to h3. Where did I use paragraph again? I think I used paragraph somewhere also. Okay, I used paragraph here also. So I'm going to change it to h3 so that we can easily identify the question. h3. So let me save this and check it again. Okay, so what is your gender? Rate our service. Okay, so that's good. So now what are we working on? We're working on checkbox. So this input is for checkbox, and I'm going to save and refresh now. Hold on a minute. Okay, so this checkbox, we have label also. So I'm going to create a label for it, for the user to select what he's working on. I mean what he wants to select. Let me write the question here. h3 select other countries visited. So this is label for Nigeria. I'm going to write Nigeria here. I'll copy this and write other countries here. Control C, Control V. So I think I should add 5 countries. So I'm going to write here Canada, So here also I will write, let's say Niger, then Ghana, let's say Ghana, and yeah, also let me save this. I'll change this to Togo. So let me save this. Once I save this and refresh, it's going to bring out those checkbox. So sorry, I have to add a break button to them. So I'm going to copy this input. Each of them is going to have an input. Control V. So here we have input for checkbox. This one is for Nigeria, this one is for Niger, this one is for Ghana, not Guinea, and this one is for Togo. So I'm just going to add a break button here so that I can move to the next line. BR here also, BR here also, BR. I'm adding those break buttons so that they can move to the next line, because it only shows what you do. So let me refresh this. So now we have select other countries visited here. The difference between this checkbox and this radio button is that for radio button you can only select one input, one option at a time, but for radio button it's different. You can select multiple options. Like they said you should select other country visited here. You may have visited like 3 out of these 5 countries listed here, so you just have to select the three visited. Let's say I'm in Nigeria currently, so I'll select Nigeria. I may select Canada or not. I can select Niger or Ghana. So this is how to use the checkbox. So the checkbox is just like the radio button, but for the checkbox you can select more options than this radio button, whereby you can just select only one options. So that is the difference between the radio button and the checkbox. So moving on to the next tag. So this is how to use the checkbox. So now I'll be moving on to text area. Let's say the website wants you to leave other message for you, like want to send the message to the website. And okay, let me go to the web page for you guys to understand what I'm trying to say. Like now, this web page, now this hotel feedback form, the hotel is asking you that you should enter your gender, please rate our service. You select what you want from the options, and they say select other countries. Let's say you are not, they didn't write like some other things you want to let the hotel to know, and it's not among them. That is when the text area comes into action. Like you are like other messages. I'm going to let me go back to the VS Code and write it. I'll use H3 and write any. Okay, let's say please enter any other message you have for us. So this option is to let the user know that okay, maybe among those things asked, what you want to let them know is not among them. This is when this comes to action. So let me go back to the web page. So please enter any other message for us. I'm going to create a text area here for the user to input. So I can use text area, I can use input, and I can use the actual text area. So let's say I want to use input tag. It will work normally, but this is what we are going to get. Let's say now we want to enter the other message, and the user we want to enter message, and the user start entering message. Instead of this what do you call it, this line to break and come down. Like when you press enter on your keyboard, it's supposed to come down to the next line. It won't work because we're actually using input tag. So instead of using this input tag to create an area or an area for the user to enter a message that he or she wants to let the website to know, we are going to use text area. So instead of using this input here, I'm going to use a text area. So we also to call the text area, and this text area has some attributes. It has the name, it has the ID. When we get to CSS, we'll use the ID more often. It has the columns and the rows, the default columns and the rows. So I'm going to explain why we have these columns and rows here. So now this for order message, let me just write orders here, or let me just say message. So once I save this and refresh, it's going to give us the text area. So in this text area now, the user may try to input some text. You can see that when it goes to the end of this line here, it breaks, and you can even press enter. It breaks and moves to the next line to continue what you are trying to write, whatever you want to write for them. So it's just like a text area for you to write anything for the website to know. Once you press send, they are going to be sent to the server connected to the website. So that is how to use text area. So the function of these rows and columns, these are the default rows and columns that come with the text area tag. So let me say I change these columns now to 100, and I change these rows to 50. It's going to enlarge. So let me refresh the page. So you can see now that it enlarged, and the good thing about this text area is that you can control it with your hand and increase the size and width with your hand. So you can increase it and write whatever you want to write, but I'm going to leave it in the default size, default rows and column. So this is 30 and this is 10. So I'm going to leave it the way the default rows and column of the text area. So whatever other messages you have for the hotel, you can write it and send it to them. So this is how to use text area, guys. I hope you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say. The reason why I'm very slow is because I want you guys to understand what I'm trying to explain in this second part of how to create forms. Okay, so now there's one more thing I will need to add here. Like now I can use a placeholder to let the user know that, okay, please enter. I can write please enter a text here or enter your message here, for the user to know that, okay, I've written please enter any other message for us here. But let's say the person didn't know where it wants to enter the message. Maybe this cursor is not blinking inside here. Maybe he's actually working, or he or she's actually working on the other options. I'm going to use a placeholder to write please enter your message here, so that once the user see it, okay, we know that, okay, this please enter your message here is working with this box here. So I'm going to use a placeholder in the code here to write please enter your message here. I'm going to use a placeholder. You can use value. In the beginning of our lecture, I told you the difference between how to use value and how to use placeholder. But placeholder is actually more okay than using values. You don't have to start clearing and rewriting. Placeholder is just once you start typing your information, it will clear out. So I'm just going to write enter your message here. Enter your message here. So once I save this now and go to the web page, once I save and go back to the web page, it's going to be displayed. You can see now it says enter your message here. Immediately I start typing, it's going to disappear. So that is benefit of using a placeholder. So I hope you guys understand what I have done. So I would like you guys to practice this and perfect how to use them, and because when we get to CSS, developing a real website is going to be a lot of benefit to us. Okay, so let me try and enter some text here and see. Once I press the send action, the send button, if it will take us to the next, the website, the website links to it, or the web page. So let me just enter anything here. Let me write Yusuf, email, Yusuf at gmail.com. Let me say phone number. Let me just write 090. Create a password. Write a random text. I'm a mail. Select mail. How's the service? Let's say the service is very good. I'll choose. Let me say I should select other countries. I'll select Nigeria, Niger, Togo, and maybe I have any other message for them. Okay. I don't have any other message. So once I press this send action, once I press the send, okay, so wait, it's not going. Okay, let me go back to the code to see what is actually wrong. Forms. Okay, yes, this forms tag supposed to be, let me cut it, it's supposed to be at the end of what I'm doing. So I will just paste it here. That is why the form is not switching into action. So let me just paste it here. Ctrl S. So those things, let me refresh and put this information back. Yusuf, Gmail 090, just put a random number for just testing. Put a random password. I'm a mail. Very good. Select. Okay, let me select very good. Nigeria, Niger, Togo. I don't have any other message. So once I press the send action, it's going to take us to the server. Let's say it's a website now that wants to get your information before you can have access to their website and services. That is how it's going to work. Once you press the send action, once you input all your data, your information, and you press the submit or send button or login, whatever it is going to take you to the web page once all your data are correct. So this is where we're going to stop, guys. Thank you for watching, and I would like you guys to practice all what we have done today. So once you are done, you can submit it to the, you can screenshot what you have done and submit it to the group for correction. So let us practice. So next week we are going to be working on the latest HTML5 syntax. So that will be the last topic for level 2 before we move on to CSS. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.